It's in any town, any street, any normal looking house, right under your nose, and most people probably not aware. Police! And then you'd go in and then it's not normal at all. Just a bed, semi-naked woman in there.
Have you got clothes?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Boxes of condoms and some sex toys, and that's all that's there.
In every corner of the country, women and girls are being kept as slaves and sold for sex.
Într-o zi, dacă făceam 1000 de lire, poate și mai mult de 1000.
And Romanian girls are now big business.
Am fost doar un copil, am avut 12 ani. Da, eram doar o sclavă pentru ei, făceam tot ce îmi spuneau.
They are brainwashed, they are programmed. I have a 13-year-old girl right here who's desperately trying to get back to her 52-year-old lover boy.
I'm on a journey through Romania to expose how this all begins.
Sunt domnișoara, am 15 ani și am fost sechestrată de către un domn. Veniți repede, vă rog.
Somebody take your child, you go to the police, nothing happened. How do you feel?
You're actually police officers. Where are you living? You're not. I know you're not living here.
With police in the UK struggling to cope.
You just see the worst in societies. You see what people can do to other people without giving an absolute damn about that person.
I want to know how this brutal trade is being allowed to thrive.
The state of Romania doesn't care about the life of children, yes.
We've had intelligence. It's being used as a brothel. Numerous males coming and going out of the address throughout the day. There are young girls at the address who are letting these males in, and we believe it's Romanian women.
This is an increasingly familiar story. Police have identified a house they think has trafficked girls inside, and they want to get them out.
Due to their age, I've got concerns that there may be some exploitation. They've been trafficked to the country. So we want to go in as low-key as possible and start building that early rapport with the girls.
At this stage, winning the girls' trust is vital.
Ideally, we don't want to just put the door in and put the fear into people straight away.
Police!
I can hear Scoop. All right, guys. Say go in low-key and they're screaming. Have you got some clothes? Where's your clothes, more importantly? So there's 4 Romanian girls in there, all basically in the lingerie. It's just being used as a brothel.
Every week in the West Midlands, they search at least one of these houses.
24 missed calls.
They've been constantly going off.
Yeah, that'll be their punters. What is it, Bolts? What we got? Bit of crack. Okay.
When we come into the property, you can see the drugs, alcohol, and the level of desperation from the people that are here. It shows you what they're being potentially subjected to.
The girls are in their early 20s. They don't speak English, and they're scared. Police take them to a community centre to talk to them.
You haven't got many belongings, have you, considering you've been in the UK 3 years? Who does she pay the rent to then?
That girl is back in Romania.
Do you know her name? The main reason to do that is to tease information out to try and see whether they have A, been trafficked, B, are they under any control while they're at the address now. The stories are similar, but they're not. They are all saying they pay different money, they're all saying they pay different people. So it does raise concerns for me that someone is potentially in control of that address.
But the girls give very little away. They say they're here voluntarily, though the youngest seems to want help.
She is listening intently when I'm describing some of the circumstances that girls find themselves in. She's got my number, she might call.
Just trying to think moving forward then. Is it worth us doing another visit there, or she's not a child?
Yeah.
She's an adult.
Yeah.
We can't force her to come out, unfortunately, even though we suspect something's not right.
Yes.
Okay. All we want to do is help these people. But like I say, we can only act upon what we're being told.
Because sex work is legal in the UK, Brian and his team now have no choice but to send the girls back to the house. Of all the suspected victims of sex trafficking in the UK last year, more came from Romania than anywhere else. And so I've come here to find out why so many girls are being trafficked and why they're so reluctant to accept help.
Okay, you come in, and then we release the dogs. You need to have a seat, because otherwise they will attack you, honestly.
Jean Mackenzie runs the only shelter in Romania for children who've been trafficked for sex.
Hello. Hey.
Along with help from her son Stefan.
You are a great help, and I appreciate that.
Is he a good son?
Yes, the best, honestly. Now you stay here because I work. Watch me. Nu, intrați să bem o cafea.
A new girl is brought in. She's 16.
She has been trafficked, and they pushed her from the first floor, so she doesn't have the teeth and her leg is broken. She fell into a garbage bin, so she's lucky to be alive.
All the girls here have been lured into the sex trade as children by traffickers pretending to be in love with them. This tactic is called the lover boy.
The lover boy method is the most horrible method of recruiting girls. There are recruiters in the schoolyards. They are planted in the school, and they talk to the girls. This guy comes and tells them, I love you so much, you are so beautiful, you are so smart, I want to marry you. They want to believe it, it's easy to believe.
Eu dai un pic, tati, te rog frumos pe mami la telefon să o rog ceva. Mami, mi se termină gelul de duș și șamponul.
Daniela is the youngest girl in the shelter.
I have a 13-year-old girl right here who's desperately trying to get back to her 52-year-old lover boy. When she runs away, she tells the police, I want to go to my lover boy. He's 52 years old. I love him. This is one of them that she is in love with.
That's a photo of her with her trafficker.
Yeah. She calls him Yubi. Yubira means love. Everyone talks about trafficking as being a consequence of poverty. Bull. It's not. It's of unloved children. If he tells them, I love you, and the second day he will beat them up to go and work on the street, so what? They've been beaten up so many times. They've been put down by other people. Whatever you want, they've been through all. But I love you, they never heard.
Avem unde să dormim, avem unde să mâncăm, da, avem condiții și...
The girls here are not unusual. Last year there were hundreds of victims of sex trafficking in Romania. Half of them were children.
They're getting younger and younger. The younger the girl, the easier it is for the trafficker to scare her. They don't need to beat them up, they don't need to work hard. Now we have girls as young as 12. When they get to us, they started at 10.
Is that what you're seeing? Girls trafficked at 10 years old?
Yeah, we had a few cases. If they are on the street since they are 13, When they're 18 and they come to UK, this is the only life they know. This is the only thing they will do.
Jana's son Steph is taking me to see where the trafficked girls are pimped out.
Here's another girl right in the front here. So they get groomed here at very young ages, and years of constant abuse and manipulation. These guys are smart, they work in a team. It's too easy for them. I mean, I was hearing a trafficker talk, and he's like, man, stuff drugs. Drugs are so hard. You need capital, you need a infrastructure. With girls, all you need is a big mouth. You tell them a few things, and these dumb girls, you know, they fall right into your bag, and you can make tons of money off them. So that's a pimp's explanation. It's easy, easy money.
After years of being trafficked in Romania, the girls are often brought here, where there's more money to be made.
Am dat în hemoragie. Pur și simplu nu puteam să merg, nici în genunchi nu mai puteam să merg. Eram pe cale să mor.
Elena was left for dead by her traffickers. She was discovered in a flat in the West Midlands and taken to hospital. She's been moved now to a safe house.
I've never seen anyone in that state before. She was repeatedly beaten. She'd been malnourished. She had burns. She had lots of wounds on her body. One of the consultants in there had estimated that she'd only had 48 hours to live.
I'm meeting Elena a few months after her escape, and I can see how traumatised she is. She was trafficked to the UK by a man she thought she loved, forced to leave her one-year-old son behind.
N-am avut alte alegere să ajung în Regatul Unit, că mi-a amenințat că mi-a copilul, mi-o omoară pe mama. Și în momentul ăla s-a creat frica.
As soon as she arrived here, she was locked in a flat.
Am stat 3 persoane, eu și încă 2. Același lucru, să te culci cu diverse bărbați.
How many men used to come each day?
Să zic așa, aproximativ, dacă vineau 10, 20, mai era unii putea să stea cu tine și 5 ore și 6 ore, mai ales drogați de ăștia. Eram spionată din toate punctele de vedere. El știa tot. Și la ce oră mă pun să dorm, la ce oră mă trezesc, câți bani se fac, cum se fac. Într-o zi, dacă făceam 1000 de lire, poate și mai mult de 1000. Toți banii care îi făceam, îi trimiteam lui.
Elena was forced to advertise herself online.
Era un fel de site, site-ul se numea Viva Street.
So you had to put an advert of yourself on this website for men to come and sleep with you?
Da, era un fel de site care puneai pozele tale, dacă nu pozele tale, făceai cu poze fake.
This is the website Elena was advertised on. It's legal and one of the most common sites used by sex workers, but a number of recent convictions show traffickers have used it to sell their victims. Viva Street says it cooperates with police investigations and has measures in place to detect criminal behaviour, which they continually review and update. But by advertising online, the girls can be kept off the streets, hidden in houses, making them harder to find.
Age is 21 years old.
It's advertised on Beaver Street, right? Yeah. Romanian female, isn't it?
Detective Colin Ward is scouring the websites, looking for signs the girls have been trafficked.
There's at least 2 or 3 different females using the same number.
This is the surest sign.
It tends to indicate someone else is controlling that telephone number, someone else is controlling those sex workers. Because of the change to online and because of the change from, say, massage parlours where we might have had traffic victims working in the past, the houses, it's just a normal house on a normal street. It's a normal flat in a normal apartment block. People will have neighbours who are victims of sex trafficking. It's got harder for us because it could be anywhere. We don't know where to go to, we don't know where to go and visit. Cheers, mate.
And so Colin is trying a new but controversial tactic. Once he spots a possible victim, he tries to arrange a meeting by posing as a client.
Make sure I get the right phone and not send it from my own personal phone. That's a good start. I'm just saying, are you free? And then I'll get an address back, hopefully.
So at this stage, she doesn't know that you're a police officer?
No, and that's always up for debate over what we're doing. You know, are we pretending to be someone else? Not at the moment, no, because I'm just saying, are you free? As soon as we go to that premises, as soon as she opens the door, I identify as a police officer. Go do a left. Sex trafficking is rife in the UK. I don't think we've got anywhere near the true picture of how many victims there are there. It must be miles bigger than what we know already. Hey, are you okay? We're actually police officers. Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Don't worry, don't be scared.
Colin finds a woman alone in the flat.
Where are you living? You're not.
With just a mattress and a bag of condoms.
You're not living here, there's no clothes, there's no food, there's no nothing. Yeah, so don't think we're stupid, okay? There's £1,000 there in clients, but you've not got a penny on you. It makes me think that you're not keeping the money.
But just like in Birmingham, the girl refuses to accept help. For now, it's another failed attempt.
What I'm worried about is, I know you're not telling us the truth, and I understand that. If there is anything going on where you're not safe, you need to let us know. Oh, wait a minute, bloody hell. Probably a few minutes after we left the house, I had a text message from the lady just saying thanks, which is really unusual. I've probably never had that before when we've done these sort of work. Romanian women, in general, there's very little trust of the police. The experience they probably had with their police in their own country can be really, really poor. I've been doing this for 14 years now. I can count on one hand how many victims have gone, I'm a victim, I need help. It just doesn't happen.
During my time in Romania, I found that children are being groomed by traffickers from the age of 10, which explains why many of them don't realise they've been exploited. But I want to understand more about their deep distrust of police and authorities, where this comes from. Then I hear an unbelievable story that might help explain things.
Acest lavărboi, care i-a sucit mințile, i-a spărat creierul, i-a dat droguri maxim.
When I arrive to meet this family, they're celebrating. Their oldest daughter, Andrea, has just been brought home after being trafficked 3 years ago. Andrea is distant. She's still adjusting to being back. But after a while, she starts playing me her favourite music and tells me what happened.
Am fost doar un copil, am avut 12 ani. Cred că la început am primit tot timpul droguri numai gratis. După, au început să fie nevoie de bani. Și știau că singura opțiune este să mă prostituez. Mi-au fost prieteni doar în capul meu. Da, eram doar o sclavă pentru ei. Făceam tot ce îmi spuneau.
This is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Andrea's parents say they knew who'd taken her, but the police wouldn't help them.
La poliție când mergeam, nu auzeam decât că ei nu au ce să facă, că nu au personal ca să poată să meargă să o caute.
So you are alone. In this city, you are alone. Nobody do nothing.
Ieșeam în oraș și o căutam cu mașina.
Eventually, Maruara decided to rescue her daughter herself. She contacted the trafficker and arranged to meet him by setting up a fake drug deal.
Deci aici e locul unde am găsit-o pe portbagajul mașinii. Și-a deschis portbagajul, a tras-o jos. Ea era drogată. Vreau să vă spun că în portbagaj era drogată, nici nu putea să stea în picioare. Și acum, dacă mi-aduc aminte, văd acele momente în fața ochilor. Nu știam cum copilul meu era acasă și cum am găsit-o.
Sunt stabilă, sunt acasă, stabil din punct de vedere emoțional și nu mai am nevoie de persoanele din anturajul ăla, nu le mai simt lipsa.
Can you imagine somebody go to the school, take your child, drug him, traffic it, you go to the police, nothing happened, you go next day to the city and the drug dealer smile in your face. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Why do you think police didn't search for her?
Eu cred că din moment ce poliția nu a făcut nimic niciodată, este mână-mână cu ei.
The local police force have told us they did look for Andrea and they referred her case to a specialist anti-trafficking team. But I keep hearing the same story, that when children here are trafficked, police often turn a blind eye. And I want to know from police themselves why this is happening. So I've come to meet Cosmin Andrica, the head of Romania's policing union.
Why have you decided to speak out?
Every year we have more and more girls who are trafficked. The system is more than broken. The system is overwhelmed.
Is it a case that these officers don't realise the girls have been trafficked? They don't see it as a problem?
We have more than 100 cases of disappearance in a county, and we only have 1 to 5 police officers who investigate this kind of disappearance. It's inefficient to investigate.
It's impossible.
It's impossible, yes, in fact.
But not only this, Cosmin tells me the traffickers, by luring the girls with the lover boy method, are exploiting a loophole in the law. When a child leaves voluntarily, police here cannot treat it as a crime.
The prosecutor asked him, do we have some real proofs that she was kidnapped? No. Okay, then maybe she left because she got in love with some guy, or maybe she left because she wanted a better future.
But then came a case that was impossible to ignore and sent shockwaves through the country.
Au veni echipajul. Păi de cine vă este frică? Alo, de cine vă este frică?
De el m-a bătut.
De el? Cine este persoana?
Vă rog,
Da?
stați cu mine la telefon, că nu este frică.
Nu pot să stau în telefon, domnișoară, că avem și alte apeluri.
This 15-year-old girl was murdered in a tiny rural town, Caracal, which is renowned for trafficking. Maria is the journalist who covered the case.
When a girl disappears in Caracal, it's not such fuss because usually young girls disappear here.
So when Alexandra Maceșanu was kidnapped on her way home from school, her parents received a familiar response.
Atunci a mers soțul, a mers la poliție și atunci a dat-o dispărut.
Mi-au spus că așa sunt copiii de vârsta lui ei și o să apară.
She was locked in a room. She managed to grab a phone left in the room and to do a 911 call.
This is a recording of the call she made to the police.
Sunt domnișoara, am 15 ani și ieri am fost sechestrată de către un domn.
Cum te cheamă?
Macceșanu Alexandra, vă rog, veniți repede, nu știu unde sunt.
Ai fost violată?
Da, am fost violată.
Alexandra made 3 calls to 911. She was repeatedly asking, will you come here? Will you send somebody to save me?
Veniți cât mai repede.
And they were mocking her because she didn't know where she is detained.
Păi și acum pe unde ești? Te poți uita?
Nu pot, sunt închisă într-o cameră, văd decât o poartă.
Ia, uite-te pe...
Her last words were, please, please come.
A venit, veniți repede, vă rog.
Police didn't trace Alexandra's phone calls. It would be 16 hours before they arrived at the house she was being held.
But they didn't enter, they waited outside for 10 hours because they said we have no permission from a judge to enter.
By the time they went inside, they found a barrel of ashes. Her kidnapper said he'd killed her and burnt her body. He also admitted killing another missing teenager, Luisa Milencu, who disappeared 3 months earlier. These events have triggered an outpouring of grief and outrage across Romania.
Here is the candles that people are bringing from all over the country. I think it's a collective trauma, what happened here.
Why are people coming from so far?
To light the candle, just to put light in a very dark place and to make the authorities see that we care about what happened and we expect, something to change. The policemen in Romania, they usually don't pay much attention when a girl is missing because they think it's about human trafficking and the investigation ends here.
How do you feel about the way the police have handled your case?
Poate n-au luat-o ca pe glumă. Dacă o luau de serios de prima dată, eu cred că astăzi era aici cu noi.
Asta e camera Alexandrei. Mai bine îi mai miros parfumul, că au rămas în hăinuțele astea. Mi se face dor, vin aici.
As I spend time with Alexandra's mother, I realize something truly heartbreaking.
Ăsta e ursul cumpărat de ziua ei când a împlinit 16 ani. Să-l aibă când o găsim. Deci eu pe Alexandra nu o consider moartă. Cum să zic, credem cu tărie că ea este traficată în altă parte.
They believe their daughter is alive.
Because of the police incompetence.
Because of the police, yes.
It was just really sad to meet them. Really sad. Because police investigate cases so poorly they won't believe their daughter's dead. They think that it's a more plausible explanation that she's been trafficked.
The state of Romania doesn't care about the lives of their people.
Doesn't care about the lives of the children.
Doesn't care about the life of children, yes. This is the conclusion.
We've been to Romania to try and understand what is going on. We found that these children are beginning their trafficked journey from the age of 10. Does that surprise you?
Doesn't surprise me at all, no. No.
These are the girls that then end up in the UK in the houses that you find. So Romania's failings are becoming your problem.
Yeah, but it's also the fault of us, you know, I think in this country, and as far as us not identifying the victims as much as we want to, not getting those convictions that we need to be getting against traffickers. Just up, bye. We're not getting enough cases to court anywhere near shape or form. Anybody else here? Just you. Come in. We just want to make sure you're okay. So I need to speak to this chap, so if you just go back downstairs. Where are you from? It's been so easy for so long, you know, for when a victim will say, I'm not a victim, for, you know, police to go and go, okay, you're not a victim, we've got nowhere to go with this. He's saying he's just a punter, but he's got no money, he's off himself with flip-flops. We need to get out there that people are not going to come forward, so we do need to still investigate these crimes.
Some forces, like Greater Manchester, are now trying to build cases without testimony from those who've been exploited. But this requires time, skill, and money. Three months on from their visit to this house in Birmingham, and police have come back to check up on the 4 girls they think are being exploited.
It doesn't look occupied, looks like they've left. We did a warrant there, we raided it. The neighbours said that the occupants moved out 2 weeks ago. They're very pleased that they no longer live here. That's what the neighbours say. All right, thank you. Take care.
Police just have no idea where the girls are now. And this is what keeps happening, they tell us. The women get moved through different houses so quickly that it's impossible to keep up. Politicians are aware of the problem, but still, it continues to grow. I'm going to meet the head of the parliamentary group on sexual exploitation, MP Diana Johnson, who's pushing the government to act.
We have trafficking into this country on an industrial scale. Women being trafficked in for the sex industry, and we are failing to address it. Although we've got the Modern Slavery Act and we've got legislation about trafficking, the number of prosecutions are tiny.
Over the last 3 years, nearly 6,000 victims of sex trafficking have come forward. But in this time, there have been just 95 prosecutions.
Despite all the warnings, the government has failed to act. And that's shameful.
The UK government says it's working here and with authorities in Romania to ensure those responsible are brought to justice, using what it says are some of the most stringent human trafficking laws in the world.
That's the one, yeah. It's the subway.
We could easily rescue someone every day in Greater Manchester, but we need that intelligence coming into us. Okay, so there's only going to be you left here at this house. Dealing with trafficking and dealing with this sort of crime, it will have affected me, I've no doubt at all. Because you just see the worst in society. You see what people can do to other people without giving an absolute damn about that person.
These are letters for Santa. Ripped jeans, cigarettes, diapers for the baby, and lots of kisses. I remember one girl was saying, I want a family to love me. I want to have a house and a family. These were the things that Santa couldn't give them.
Nu bine, mami, vă iubesc mult. Da?
A few days ago, Daniela tried to run away from the shelter again.
What's happened to her trafficker?
Nothing. Nothing happened to the trafficker. I mean, the mother went and filed a complaint.
Where is he?
But he's at home, doing fine. It's not case against him because she doesn't say that she was forced, she was whatever. She loves him. Yes, in my opinion, he should be charged and sentenced. He's 52 and she's 12.
Bringing traffickers to justice has always been a problem in Romania. Convictions are rare and punishments are lax. Last year, dozens of convicted traffickers avoided prison. They were given suspended sentences instead.
What needs to change here, Liana?
Trafficking, it's an organized crime. As it is now, the income is high, the risk is low. But if you reverse the equation and you put them in jail for a long time and confiscate everything they have, then it's not going to be that easy to do trafficking. I think that they will think twice. Why do you have bigger sentences for trafficking drugs? The message you send out there is you can sell a few children from the poor countries, you make a lot of money and you don't go to jail.
It's been 2 years since I began this journey, and I'm realising that nothing ends well. I'm going to meet Elena, the girl who was rescued from the house in the UK. I know that after some hesitation, she's agreed to give evidence to the police.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
You look great.
Yes.
Mă simt ca față de anul trecut, mă simt mai puternică.
I know you've had your tattoo changed from where he branded you before.
L-am modificat pentru că de câte ori mă uit la el, îmi amintește de numele lui și îmi amintește terorile pe care le-am trecut.
Why did you choose a feather?
Pentru că reprezintă angel, reprezintă libertatea.
But Elena has some disappointing news. West Midlands police have dropped her case, and her trafficker has fled back to Romania.
Mă simt puțin frustrată, mă simt foarte cu nervi întinși că ei vor să aibă și dovezi concrete, dar eu n-am avut cum să am dovezi concrete pentru că el știa cum să manevreze lucrurile, să nu am nicio dovadă.
Do you think you can go back to Romania?
Nu. Mi-e frică să nu fiu omorâtă. Mi-e frică pentru viața mea, mai ales mi-e frică să nu bag familia în pericol.
Elena is one of the only girls I've ever heard of who's agreed to give evidence to the police. I know how hard it was for her to give that evidence. It shows that even when the girls speak out, which is so rare, it's not necessarily enough to get their cases to court.
I also want to know about Andrea, the teenager in Romania, rescued by her parents from the boot of her trafficker's car. Her dad's now working here in London.
He just called me and asked if I'll come and meet him because he says that he's got something to tell me. Hi. Oh.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine.
How is your daughter?
They took her again. We find out they are the same guys.
It must be so hard after 2 years to have this happen again.
Yes, we sold everything, our company from Romania, to save our daughter. To stay home almost 2 years to stay and save my daughter. When I stay home, I don't have any problem. When I leave from home, the problem comes again.
So the minute you left, they came for her?
Exactly.
Are you worried they might try to traffic her to another country?
Maybe have 3 months in January, my daughter, he makes 18 years old, then I cannot do more.
Since the murders in Caracal, the Romanian government says it has made efforts to tackle trafficking. There are now more specialist officers and tougher sentences for trafficking children. But on the ground, very little has changed.
I feel angry because I hear these stories for 20 years and we should have stopped this by now. The only conclusion is that we didn't have the will to stop it. The bottom line is that we don't care.
Some days you do walk away and it does play in your mind when you go home, when you're thinking, could I have done something different? Could I have said something else to them? Could I have helped them another way?
Do you feel like you're fighting a losing battle?
No. I think we're fighting a big battle. It's going to take a lot of fighting. Yeah. I think if we thought we were fighting a losing battle, it'd be time to give up.
Pot să mă bucur în sfârșit de libertate. Mă aștept să am o căsuță, să pot munci, să pot strânge bănuțe, să pot oferi un viitor mai bun lui fiul meu.
She looks so like your wife, doesn't she, in that photo? They look so similar. Wow. Yeah, she's grown up.
Yeah. We love her and wanted to be with us like a normal kid. And I hope in one day he will be again my little daughter.